state of the team. There was a weird disconnect there as the team was crashing and burning. Russell Wilson was still let's riding. I think he's realized he needs to modify his approach to where the team currently is. And the quote from Nathaniel Hackett, that I don't think he meant it this way, but it becomes this standalone pull-out quote. Somebody's got to win this game. Yes, somebody does have to win this game unless they tie. 2-7 Raiders, 3-6 Broncos. Take your pick. Which team, Chris, has been the bigger disappointment this season?
It's a tough one. I'm going to go with the Broncos. And I don't even really care about the records a whole lot. It's just the look. And specifically, I know we can get into, Nathaniel Hackett, game one management and all that, and that certainly has not, helped his case. And there's been a bad look there, and of course with the play clock stuff early in the year and all that. But more than anything, it's just the Russell Wilson. I mean, again, this is what he's been politicking for to the whole world about the last 3 years. Get me in a place where it's all about me, and I'm going to show you that I'm Mahomes and Josh Allen. What? And they have weapons on offense. I mean, it's not like you look at it and go, well, they just need to help him out and support. Like, he's got plenty to go there. It's not been average. It's been bad, like bad, where it's like, whoa, they're doing anything they can to survive in spite of him. And that's where that's crazy. And so that to me is the more disappointing thing than even the Raiders, who, of course, have underperformed and blown some games.
I agree with you. I think the reality with Russell Wilson is he wanted something so badly. He never stopped to think that might expose him.
Right.
He's been exposed this year
Big time.
As kind of a form over substance guy. A little bit of a fugazi, you may say. As it relates to the idea that it really wasn't him in Seattle. He was more of an impediment to what the team was trying to do. The wristband thing for me crystallized it.
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, who cares if he wears a wristband? Right, exactly. Who cares if he wears a wristband? Why the hell didn't he wear a wristband? What's this resistance to making it easier to get plays communicated to the quarterback when instead of spitting out all those words that to the average person make not a bit of sense and just say 27? Like, why are you worried that someone might not perceive you as being a super genius because you happen to have a wristband? As I said last week, if it's good enough for Tom Brady, it's good enough for every quarterback in the NFL who has ever played or ever will play the game. So that to me is the most tangible thing we can point to say this guy's so obsessed with how he's perceived. And we all know people like that. They're so obsessed with how they're perceived that it undermines what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Instead of focusing on doing the right thing, taking care of all the things you need to do to understand how to properly master your craft, you're spending so much time on the shell that everything under it doesn't get the appropriate attention. And that's what we're seeing exposed in full view for everyone. Russell Wilson, form over substance. I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but we're coming to that conclusion as we see it play out week after week for the Broncos. And the Seahawks did a hell of a job of hiding it to the point where the Broncos were willing to give up all that stuff to get him.
Yeah, no, you're right. And again, I mean, I think the Broncos are taking it on the chin and having to, grin, what do they say?
Grin and bear it?
Grin and bear it, exactly. That's what I was trying to get to. Thank you very much there, friend. Yes, they are. I mean, I'm sure some of those coaches and players want to go, hey, listen, you want to know what's wrong here? Our quarterback's playing like shit. We're paying him $45 million, and he's playing horrible. Like, that's what's wrong. The defense is legit. Again, the offense, Mike, you know me. I mean, I know I've got a little history with Nathaniel Hackett, but if I saw the offense and was like, oh, my gosh, it's so bad, they need to do more, I would say that. I don't hold back in that department. It's him, period. He is the number one issue with the Broncos right now, and that's where it's just disappointing. It's crazy. It's again, I don't even care about the wins or losses. If they had this record and we were still seeing plays in the pass game and, they're putting points on the board and he's like, I'd go, hey, it's a lot of good things. I didn't expect them to just dominate football and and win the AFC West this year. But, man, the future's bright. Right now I'm sitting here going, I don't know. Can he ever do it? I'm not sure he can. And then that's, I mean, I think it's fair to question that right now.
Real quickly, because I want to get on to some of these other games.
Yeah.
Between the Raiders and the Broncos, which team do you think will have more success the rest of the way?
I'm gonna go with the Raiders here. I am. I think the Raiders are gonna kind of pull it together and gut it out and just, hey, Derek Carr, you say what you want. He is tough. Devontae Adams, McDaniels has been through some battles before. I'm gonna go with them. I don't know if either one will be all that pretty, but if you gave me hey, one got an edge, I'll go Raiders.
And again, for the Raiders, I think the issue is the reluctance to buy into the Patriot way. Even if Josh McDaniels isn't selling it as the Patriot way, he has become. You can't be with Bill Belichick that long and not have your own natural way be heavily influenced by the Patriot way. We saw it with Matt Patricia. We see it whenever a coach leaves Bill Belichick. It's a culture shock for the team, and I think there's been issues with full and complete buy-in. We'll see if they get buy-in by the end of the year. Rams Saints. My God, this is like the old days when they were both in the NFC West and they both sucked. Rams 3-6, Saints 3-7. Buy or sell? The Saints are making the right call by sticking with Andy Dalton at quarterback.
I mean, I'm going to sell that. I am. I don't. Again, it's just all I've been sold on is Andy Dalton. He protects the ball a little bit better. And all he does is turn the ball over ever since they said that. I don't understand it. They keep saying it, and I keep watching going, wait, what you're saying is not what I'm watching. What are we talking about here? Let alone, he's not a guy that looks to make big plays or do anything like that. So, I don't know. I'm at the point of the year here where they're 3-7, and yeah, I think they should have made the change this week to go back to Jameis Winston.
And again, use Taysom Hill more. He had 3 carries last week, and he had 1 pass. Use this guy. We have seen him go off this year when they use him. I'd love to know. There's got to be a book to be written on what the hell has happened with this management of Taysom Hill's career. This guy who's got special talents that never gets utilized the way that he could be or the way that he should be, to the detriment of the best interest of the team. I don't get it, because Andy Dalton, it's not like you're taking the ball out of Tom Brady's hands. You're taking the ball out of Andy Dalton's hands, and you're putting it in the hands of a guy who has proven he can give the team a kick in the ass. I'm not saying make him the starting quarterback, but hell, at this point, why not give it a shot? Nothing else is working. For the Rams, they won't have to worry about a backup this week. Matthew Stafford was a full participant in practice on Wednesday and is on track to return. Again, we don't know how guys are going to progress through the 5 stages of the post-concussion return-to-play protocol, but that's the indication. So it will be, most likely, Matthew Stafford for the Rams at the Saints in the Superdome on Sunday. Commanders, 5-5. At the Texans, 1-7-1. Earlier when I made the comment about the Texans saying I think they could actually win this week, I forgot who they were playing. I'll admit that. I'll acknowledge that. I don't care about form over substance.
Okay.
I just because when I was going through the games yesterday, I may be inclined to pick the Texans because I could just see it happening, because the Texans have been playing people tough enough that this is one of those planets line up moments where I could see them catch a team like the Commanders flat-footed, who are feeling good about themselves after beating the Eagles on Monday Night Football. So, crystal ball, as it relates to the Commanders, since Taylor Heineke will get the start this week at the Texans. Will Carson Wentz start another game this season for the Commanders?
I say no. To me, it'll have to take back-to-back horrible performances by a Taylor Heineke, something of that nature there. But I don't envision that happening. Taylor Heineke, again, he's not perfect. He's not your franchise guy, but he does bring some grit to the table and some playmaking, and for the most part has done a very good job of taking care of the football, other than that 1 interception against the Vikings 2 weeks ago. So I think it'll be him. They got the mojo going. You just don't mess with that. And they're running the ball a little bit, and he's making a few plays, and he always makes a few little crazy plays here and there. So I say no, Mike. What about you?
I think yes, especially if we factor in the possibility of Taylor Heineke being injured. But there's an opportunity to hit some roadblocks here. After the Texans, they got the Falcons. We talked about this yesterday. They got 2 winnable games before they fly into a window.
Right.
Giants by Giants, 49ers, Browns, Cowboys. At some point during that stretch, to end the season, I think Heineke is going to hit enough of a rough spot that they're going to feel compelled to flip it over to Carson